Hi, welcome to another edition of Poetry Goes Viral at Carolina Poets. My name is Kimberly J. Sims, and I'm a local poet here in Greenville, South Carolina, and the founder of Carolina Poets, which is a weekly reading series featuring 3 poets with connections to the Carolinas. We started this reading back in March as a way to get authors connected with their audiences during a time when many bookstores and other events had shut down. So our first event was the 3rd week in March in 2020. And now this is many months later. And we're still doing it, but we're having a great time. And we've had so many amazing poets that have joined us over these past 6 or 7 months. Tonight, we just have another amazing lineup for you. We have Poet Laureate of North Carolina, Jaki Shelton Green. We have Quraysh Ali Lansana, who's now out of Tulsa. And we have Katherine Williams, who is out of Charleston, South Carolina. All very esteemed award-winning poets. So we're just so excited that you would join us here this evening. We are here every Thursday, but we will be taking the next 2 Thursdays off for Christmas and for New Year's Eve. And then we will be back that first full week of January with another great lineup. If you're on our YouTube show, please hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you're on Facebook, if you have time to share the feed to your page, hit a like. If you have any questions or comments during the show, you can just pop those questions or comments below and we will see them. We are going to do a little Q&A at the end. So hopefully we'll be able to get to some of those questions. I've kind of chatting here for just a few minutes just to give everybody a chance to get onto the feed. And it looks like everyone is now online, and we're probably going to get a few more people joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first reader for the evening, which is Jaki Shelton Green. It's just such an honor that she was able to join us. She's the 9th Poet Laureate of North Carolina. She's the first African-American and the 3rd woman to be appointed as the North Carolina Poet Laureate. She is the 2019 Academy of American Poet Laureate Fellow, 2014 North Carolina Literary Hall of Fame inductee, 2009 North Carolina Piedmont Laureate appointment, and the 2003 recipient of the North Carolina Award for Literature. Jaki Shelton Green teaches documentary poetry at Duke University Center for Documentary Studies and has been named the 2021 Frank B. Haynes Writer in Residence at UNC Chapel Hill. Her publications include Dead on Arrival, Masks, Dead on Arrival and New Poems, Conjure Blues, Singing a Tree into Dance, Breath of the Song, Feeding the Light, I Want to Undie You. On Juneteenth 2020, she released her first LP poetry album, The River Speaks of Thirst, produced by Soul City Sounds and Clearly Records. Jaki Shelton Green is the owner of SistaWRITE, providing writing retreats for women writers in Sedona, Arizona, Martha's Vineyard, and Ocracoke, North Carolina. I think I said that wrong. Northern Morocco and Tullamore, Ireland. Wow, what a phenomenal bio. It's just such an honor to have Jaki here. Jaki, I brought you on screen. It is really just an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Kimberly, thank you for this amazing invitation. I'm so honored to be reading with these fabulous writers tonight and just to be able to gather inside of these little boxes.
Yes.
In the sense of community. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to step back. And I'm going to step back because I don't want to use up your time. But everyone, please give a good virtual round of applause to Ms. Jaki Shelton Green.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start with this poem, For the Lover Who Eats My Poems and All the Loving in Between Bites. I write for these sounds of bruised whispers, lovely indigo painted hands, sea-washed coral brocade covers shuddering loveliness. I gasp for mercy. Scarred rainbows leave a trail of ladies in waiting, trails of spent ripeness, trails of skin so close I can hear it breathe bleed fruit into lush. It is an evening of breaking branches that we will bandage at sunrise. Your tongue is a beckoning forest, starlit, liquid whole face conjuring delectable pilgrimage. My hair is the only map you need. Course, uncharted navigation, deep into this tangled web of throttle, rhythm, infinite symphonies, horizons of songs. We are tangled in binding breath to prayer. Our history of sound becomes a snare drum, a declaration, a decoration, a declaration, a decoration of ancestral thrust, a declaration of the summer when we were full of tongues, kinky mornings. You prefer a feast of hair, but I offer neck, shoulders, a delicacy of sleepless wrist, singing ribs, and dangerous unhinged ankles and feet. A smile holding 7 seas and unmentionable continents. We wade through a millennium of oceans, tropical spasms, fierce starbursts. We have stolen this land, this cocoon of earth, for harvest, deliverance, birthing of new face, new love, new skin. It is not a shackled dance. It is not a voodoo hoodoo dance. It is not a midnight flower we bring screaming head first into this world. It is all the voices you sowed inside my heart. It is all the nights of mothers waiting. It is all the Decembers of a son's lynching. It is all the mornings swept clean of hungry ghost. It is all the love we can carry beneath our tongues. A tenderness so wanton it lashes petals, wind, the inside outside of our house. Here is the place to sow. Here is the space to scalp mercy, siphon full moon mirror. We are this tangled confession, blazing bare shadows, a treason of midriffs, honey-laced thighs, uncouth sighs, neon heartbeats. And in this while, it is enough to slide my fingers down into a stammering heartbeat and wait for you to become my primal scream. We breathe a soundless tsunami. We become the oak covering our windows, our roots collapsing with thunder, rising beneath masked skins and a rain that claims us. 2. Stillbirth. My children thrive, whether I feed them or not, in this museum of tragedies, smudged handwriting of all your freedom songs, freedom prayers that do not translate into any language, smeared across walls, crawling out of equatorial fog mass. A bloom of tropical air lifts your hair into this dry, horizontal wind. Inside this house, a wind you deny. We love beneath bedraggled backyard roses. They too hold shadows, sadness in their petals, a slap of razor to the walls, whispering morning sorrow, becoming song for the deaf of things green, the eroticism of suede, bare sleek wood, glass balls hanging, still bubs is not lost on me. I awaken in the center of the slave girl's dream. No, not that one, but this new slave girl. In the center of her winter flower dream, in the center of white clustered petals, inside dark praying palms, fingerprints pressing hard against make-believe wedding dress, a bouquet of nettle, primrose, Queen Anne's lace, her life barely a whisper, barely a whimper, from the floorboards of an open book. Her heart remembers all the flavors of danger. She married them all before in another dream. One-legged sparrow, dagger-toothed womb, sassafras mouth. She married them all in Geechee swamps, moss-covered lynching trees, houses built on rooster bones, liquor stills, cotton plants that cry when you touch them. My heart opens in the center of the new slave girl's dream, where her vows are a shudder of blessed death, stronger than any other light she swallowed before, stronger than this dream dust. I birthed you in April. You were nobody's apology, nobody's unadorned table. You made the dying worth living. I am the scribe paid in silver, a shepherd girl, barely old enough to tell her story. She opens my hands, counts the silence, the emptiness inside each space of joint that is dead, breathless. My hands have emptied many wombs, cried for the remembrance of dead babies, lost shepherd girls. My hands now receive all the disguises of everything I have forgotten how to name, how to count, how to love. And I want to now go to a piece that is actually the beginning of a series of a whole collection of work that I have scribed in Morocco. This first piece actually was written before I ever set foot in Morocco, but Morocco lived in my spirit, in my head. Sonic collage, or dying in a foreign country. I want to crawl into the grave, nibble along the wooden box. I want to nibble until my breath becomes pine wood. I want to release you into the cool smell of dark. Touch your lips with my eyes, shudder when you wake. I pour the wine, sweep the ashes, sift the wind's curse into bread loaves. I pour the wine, dry midnight tears, stitch morning back into your eyes. I pour the wine, melt the glaciers forming in the fields, scatter ashes, rename daughters. Daughters be the threshold of forbidden awakenings. I wrap my eyelids inside the feathers of day-old birds. I watch for the sprinkle of sun, rain, winter growing inside my mouth. Thigh hips, your hip bone connected to my, oh no, what bone? Daughters dream fields of lavender, dream about whispering tornadoes. I be riding hip bones, sucking whale bones. Shadows of beds, chairs, strangers hurl through the cyclone. Are we in Morocco? I taste coriander. I am weeping Egyptian licorice. These blues, these ambers, these saffrons, these curtains, these veils, these portals, these footsteps. Are we in Morocco? Allahu Akbar. I smell the prophet's blood inside this windstorm, a Saharan tease, a Nile thirst. You, woman one, river stone thief, hostage to thunderstorms, juju rain. You, woman tree, roots boiling blood, slave carnage. You, woman snake, licking crevices, searching indigo flesh. Woman spirit, holding sky crumbs, stealing chlorophyll from the night. 1. Woman sprout, woman dirt, woman flood, woman hair. 2. Wrap your woman stones inside the feathers of castrated cocks. 3. Wrap your woman honey inside plantain leaves. 4. Wrap your bones inside the bear's coat. 5. Woman cloud, weeping flute songs, weeping flute dust. 6. Wrap your woman child inside tornadoes, lavender, bronze, tremor red. 7. Hold unto your hair, hold unto your nails, hold unto your skin, your juice, your spirit dirt. Hold unto your windows, your doors, hold unto your male children. I eat them, I paint them, I write them, I rename, redress, reposition them. 8. I am ready. I am the Thursday night in Brazil, Wednesday morning in Monk's Corner, rehearsing High Priestess Litany. I am ready. Red magic feet. I am bronze, blue, female ready. 9. I am the last morning in the barn, sweeping old dust, old memory, old worn out story into worn out corners. I am skirts waiting to be danced. I am ready. I am veils waiting to be lifted. Ready. 10. I am the last night in the barn. Candles, honey, Penobscot fog. Poems crawling from under the bed. Poems falling off shelves. Poems rolling from under rugs. We were in Morocco. 11. I taste coriander. Smell ginger in your hair. 12. Poems lifted blankets, quilts, pillows masquerading as sleep. Poems spread open curtains. Poems painted themselves on my lips. Poems braided my hair with the hands of my mother. Poems oiled my feet. Poems henna'd my thighs. Poems crushed thunder chips all over my lips. Poems started licking my eyes. Poems started caressing my face. Poems measured my tears that last night in the barn. 13. In the barn, poems amputated your face, replaced your smell, your walk, your words. 14. Morocco is always here. I taste coriander. I smell ginger in your hair. My face is the shadow of all the poems uncoiling, reaching, braiding, hip bone to face. And I think my time is almost up. I would like to end with this poem. I think my time is almost up. Maybe I have a few more minutes. Letter from the Other Daughter of the Confederacy. I wrote this poem in response to the toppling of the Silent Sam Confederate monument that once upon a time resided on the University of North Carolina's campus. I was watching the 11 o'clock news and watching the live toppling of the monument and found myself hysterically crying and could not understand why I was crying and laughing at the same time, because I have a very twisted relationship with the South that has borne me with this South. Letter from the Other Daughter of the Confederacy. Would I have been your Black Confederate princess, emblem of truly a new dirty South, a new rag for all the wiping, swiping of blood-dazzled sidewalks, trees bent heavy, heaving beneath black claws, tigers and bears. Would I have been your Black Confederate concubine, sashaying a room draped in rope, teeth, dried phalanges, pulsating throats, electric shocked eye sockets? Would I have been your Black Confederate dominatrix, razor blades strapped beneath my armpits, whips growing like hair across your ribs, your mother's mother's mother raising out of a hell box to reclaim her name, the last of a savage cave tribe buried alive beneath a southern mansion crest. Your father's father's father does not wince in his grave. He's known other Black Confederate dominatrix, claimed flagpoles to pleasure her demands, swallowed birth certificates, census reports, Bibles to pleasure his own demands. would I have been your Black Confederate trophy? Hidden inside mahogany-carved beds, hidden inside crystal flutes, hidden inside a meadow of thistle, hidden inside the elbow of an oak that knows everything, everyone, or inside an owl's nest, just a throw from the slave auctioneer's voice. Could I, would I, have been your Black Confederate lover? Bite me, bite me, bite me. While an entire continent roars back upon your back. Our daughters are not your daughters. 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 Let them be. Could I? Would I have been your Black Confederate secret? I am the names of all the smothered babies in the hands of mammies so black they startle the night they steal from. I am the names of all the daughters grinding and sifting gree-gree into your soup. I am the name of every womb you poisoned. I am the name of all your weariness, all your fear, all your disease, all the death I hold back from you. I am the life of the 100,000 nightmares that hold you hostage to sunlight. Could I, would I have been your Black Confederate truth once upon a Black Confederate lynching book? I am all the names of all the names of all the names of Black skin becoming stardust, floating black snow, falling all over the porcelain nakedness of your white Confederate mistress. Confederate black snow, falling on the tongues of your white Confederate children. Black Confederate skin, tucked inside their pockets for good luck. I am the name of the belt you tighten around your white Confederate waist, woven from my Black Confederate skin. Could I? Would I have been your Black Confederate anthem, a princess without a country, the other daughter of the Confederacy, sewing bullets inside Bible pages, wrapping swords with crushed red velvet, dancing knives beneath war skirts? I am this other daughter of your Confederacy, standing bone to bone to bone to all the other Confederate daughters, eating the stars falling from your eyes, eyes that could not bear witness to your other daughter of your Confederacy. I am that daughter, bleached bones, rotating eye sockets, searching upside down for stolen birthrights, shackled starlight, and the indescribable taste for freedom. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that was so amazing, Jaki. Wow.
Thank you.
Where can we get some of your books other than on, I know we can get them at every big name out there, obviously, but is there from your website or somewhere more independent too that maybe people could look for your
Yes.
books?
Thank you. Jakar Press.
Oh, great. Yes.
And Blair Publishers, which is Carolina Wren Press.
Okay,
and
awesome.
green.com for snippets of my new album. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jaki. That was just such a treat. Such a treat. I'm going to bring you back on at the end for a little chat. Wow. Please go to Jakar Press. There's actually a lot of links on Carolina Poet's Facebook page, which you haven't liked. Please do that. But Jakar Press regularly posts things with us at Carolina Poet. So we will make sure that we get you all of those links right here in the comments. But we're going to go ahead and bring up our next reader tonight. We are just thrilled to have Quraysh Ali Lansana with us this evening. He is currently a Tulsa Artist Fellow and an adjunct professor at Oklahoma State University in Tulsa. Q served as director of the Gwendolyn Brooks Center for Black Literature and Creative Writing at Chicago State University from 2002 to 2011. He is the author of 11 books, including The Walmart Republic with Christopher Stewart, and the editor of numerous prestigious collections, including the Glencoe McGraw-Hill's African American Literature Reader. He has been a literary teaching artist and curriculum developer for over 2 decades and has led workshops and professional development sessions in prisons, public schools, and universities in over 30 states. He's a member of the Tri-City Collective. So please give a warm welcome to Quraysh Ali Lansana.
Thank you, Kimberly. And that was an amazing reading, Miss Jackie. That was stupendous and mesmerizing and magical. And I'm honored to have published you in one of the anthologies that I co-edited, an anthology called Revise the Psalm, celebrating the life and work of my mentor, Miss Gwendolyn Brooks. So it's going to be a hard act to follow, Miss Jackie, but that's pretty amazing.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm going to step back here and let you get on with it. It's just an honor to have you here.
Thank you for the invitation, Kimberly. So, and welcome all of you. I'm very happy to be here. Oh, you're coming. Oh, okay. I thought she was coming back to say something else. I don't know. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for tuning in for poetry on a Thursday evening. And I'm gonna read a few poems. I guess I'm always in a political and historical head. That's where my work lives. That's where I live. So I will begin with a poem that I wrote for the Ralph Ellison Foundation Gala. Ralph Ellison was born and raised in Oklahoma City, and I actually, which is not too far from Tulsa. And actually, Ellison will manifest a little later on in this reading as well. But I wrote this poem with a lot on my mind, as we all have. And I wrote this in particular for this gala because I knew there were going to be several politicians in the audience. And Oklahoma, as many of you may know, is maybe the only state in the last 2 elections in which every county, all 67 counties, voted red. So, and was the first state to be called for Trump in November. This is called Elephants in the Room. It begins with a quote and epigraph from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A riot is the language of the unheard. 1. If a riot is the language of the unheard, what is silence? The disease of the privileged, the opioid of the wealthy or apathetic. Silence is only listening to the loudest mouth, an agreement from the ignorant, legislation of the partisan. Silence is authorship by the indifferent, cries of the powerless and poor. Is silence the echo of contrition, drone and dirge of the duped, allegiance to the status quo? Silence is sitting in a room when your boss calls Africa and Haiti shithole countries and saying nothing. Silence is sitting in a room to honor a native preacher of a shithole country called Atlanta and speaking, still saying nothing. Silence is 17 in Parkland, 58 in Vegas, 49 in Orlando, 26 in Newtown, 650 in Chicago. The NRA cash in their accounts loud as an AR-15. 2. Unarmed teachers revolt in red states. Teens with machine gun vernacular spray relentless hope. Angry tears, blood on their Nikes. They know testing only assesses the number of prison beds on the stock exchange. At a school in a Mexican community, a student wrote he'd build a wall around the hood to keep Trump out as we worry the windows for tanks, militia, or the INS. Our skin too anxious for dreams. Only white men can navigate the world without code switching. 3. I am not nonviolent. I am a teacher. I am not nonviolent. I am a writer. I am not nonviolent. I vote. We are not nonviolent. We care. So the next three poems will focus around the Greenwood District, and which was the site and source of the Tulsa Race Massacre, on which we are on the eve of the centennial. May, June 2021 will be the centennial observation of the most horrific act of racial violence in the history of the United States. If you post the transatlantic trade of Africans, right? And some of you may, if you have watched Lovecraft Country, which I highly recommend if you have not, or watched The Watchmen, know a little bit about this history. This history was systematically buried by the city government and the state government for successfully for almost a century, almost 85, 86 years. It's only been 2 years since a curriculum about the Greenwood District and the massacre had been taught in public schools in the state of Oklahoma. 2 years. When I was growing up here, well before I moved to Chicago and for 28 years and Brooklyn for 2, when I was in the required Oklahoma history class when in 8th or 9th grade, there was no mention of the vibrance and the significance of the Greenwood District or its traumatic destruction on the Tulsa Race Massacre in Oklahoma history books at all. And so the goal was attempting to bury this history. Excuse me. So I'm going to read a couple poems about, which has been my primary focus of my scholarship since I ran the Gwendolyn Brooks Centennial the year I published Miss Jackie in 2017. I've sort of kicked around and created a form called a blur. And a blur is very quickly taking an object that exists in 2 different time periods, those time periods being 10 or more years apart, and changing the scenery and the landscape surrounding that object, and also noting how that object feels about itself, how it thinks, how the outside world feels about that object, and how the object changes over the course of those 2 time frames. And but the blur is in the world around the not so much the object itself, though the object will manifest some wear or some change, right? So this is the first blur that I wrote. It's about an incident that happened here in 2012, well before I knew I was going to be residing in Tulsa. But in 2012, in Greenwood, in the historic Greenwood District, a drunken white man went on a shooting rampage, killing every Black person that he could see at random. He ended up killing 5-6 people. This is on the same land, the same ground where Greenwood stood. And just to give you a brief historical background, the Greenwood District was 36 blocks of Black-owned prosperity, businesses, hotels, schools, banks, all Black-owned, in the face of some of the most severe Jim Crow laws in the land. There were folks who, some of the early folks who helped settle the Greenwood District would be worth what in today's money, a couple $1 million annually. So it was a very prosperous district. It preceded Harlem. It preceded the Hill District in Pittsburgh. And land ownership is what distinguished it, that Black folks owned their land and owned their homes. So this is Tulsa Blur, 1921 to 2012, again referencing the random shooting, and in 2012 and the history on which that shooting happened. Okay. Red dust simmering below skin of earth is how bullet transcends muscle. History, a howling fire, gasoline to ravenous mouth, like language, like hate. Irritable June heat in March, a trigger, fuse drawn to surface, indecisive sky. Gunpowder ageless as blood, the north side of heaven ablaze. Africans tread Atlantic on familiar limbs. 91-year-old slug lurking in elevator shaft, bell curve, the front page of a newspaper, a senator's lips, the lynching bee, no, the cries, duped into minimum wage belief we are alive, buried in piles of our own toil, prosperity's rubble. Ancestors compelled to counsel, their pull stronger than our illusion, theirs the largest mob. And I'll read just two more. So I mentioned that we'd be circling back to Ellison. So Ralph Ellison, again, grew up in Oklahoma City, excuse me, and his mother and his younger brother decided that they were going to leave Oklahoma City after a very significant lynching of a young man named Claude Chandler, whom he and his father got into a gunfight with Oklahoma City police in August 1920, and Claude was found hung. And so Miss Ida Ellison decided that she was ready to leave Oklahoma City, and the rest, I think, will reveal itself in the poem. Ellison visits Greenwood, 1921. Oklahoma sun, an oppressive neighbor in August 1920. Churchgoers settle after dinner stomachs. Deep deuce, a murmuring disquiet. Raid at the Chandlers. Moonshine and melanin, the news on the street. Daddy Chandler and one officer dead, and young Claude jailed with alleged murder on his shirt. The Christian Sabbath, a buzzing lynching bee. 3 white men freed Claude from his cage. 1,000 armed black men on 2nd Street. Mayor and police allow one of 3 cars of now unarmed black men to find Claude, to return the next sweltering midday without him, his body rotting meat 10 miles from Oklahoma City, beaten and shot. Miss Ida had had enough. Her Lewis gone years now. She frets when Ralph delivers the dispatch, and Herbert still too young to spell K, K, K. Maybe Indiana, maybe Gary, where brother works steel. A stop in Greenwood to visit family on way north. Hundreds of shops, businesses, elegant houses, hospitals, vibrant black life in the face of Jim Crow, so unlike the Deuce, closer to the Harlem Ralph would know. Gary was not Negro paradise. Ida jobless, the boys eating garbage from trash cans. OKC was hateful, but at least familiar. Dry heat stings black skin, irritable, but somehow bearable with family. Highway leads them back to Tulsa before 2nd Street. Greenwood was gone. Black Wall Street now invisible. So Ellison writes about that in a couple of letters, a couple of correspondences about how that hanging, that lynching, I should say, of Claude Chandler drove his mama out of Oklahoma City, but then they could not find work. And so a friend was visiting family in Chicago and went to check on them and saw the condition they were living in, without jobs, homeless, literally eating garbage. and brought them back to Oklahoma and stopped to see those same family members that they visited on the way to Gary. And when they got back, Greenwood was gone. It had been bombed. It had been burned. It was, and we are in the midst of searching for mass graves here in Tulsa right now. So the last poem is also connected to the massacre. Black folks were interred at 3 different locations in Tulsa after the massacre, for about 6 to 8 days after the massacre. The only way that you could be released from this internment camp is if you're white, if you happen to work for a white person or white family, if that white family members came to vouch for you, to claim that's my Negro, essentially, and you could be released with a little badge that said police protection that they had to wear while the city of Tulsa was under martial law. So this is every step. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my hands high. White mob done shot up, firemen who come to stop the burning. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my store, ashes, 23 years gone in 18 hours at the hands of deputized crackers. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my rifle, now some white boy's firearm, killing defiant niggas with a wounded nigga's gun. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my uncle bloody, dead in charred black skin, lying in the street as they loot. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my head low, rage feeds blood, and eyes trace cracks of sanity in the known road. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my girl and boy, sobbing mama's hips wet in stifling June hot, heavy as redneck hate. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my wife's missus, gon' come claim us, cage coons like stray mutts at the pound. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my police protection. Ribbon marks me credit against a good Christian word from Maple Ridge. Marched at gunpoint down Archer, past my own smoldering home, my life, my spirit walks Greenwood to Pine and back like the grit of black love then, now.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Now, is it going to be a whole book of these poems? Is that what you're working on right now, or you just completed?
Well, I'm working on several things. I'm working on an anthology that will include poetry and nonfiction, as well as a podcast and broadcast series for WNYC for the New Yorker Radio Hour. In addition to programming, a curriculum we've developed, a children's book that I have coming out in February.
Great.
Yeah,
Fabulous. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll pop a link to your website so people can get all the kinds of information about how to buy your books. And we will see you back in a few minutes. Thank you so much, Q.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, this has just been such a stellar night of poetry, and it is not over yet. We have one more phenomenal poet who's going to be sharing some work with us tonight. I'm so excited to have Katherine Williams from Charleston, South Carolina with us this evening. She is a visual artist. She sews, she's a gardener, and grows Olympic crops of basil and carrots. She has a jungle around her house on James Island and a mystical bush full of cobalt blue bottles near her front door. She's an editor, currently editing an anthology of poetry entitled Off Base by Military Brats, of which she was one. She's a webmaster and website designer of the Poetry Society of South Carolina, She's an award-winning poet. She's a grant writer, a poetry activist, and so much more. Katherine, we're just thrilled to have you here with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and step backstage, Katherine, and we look forward to hearing your poetry.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Q and Jackie. Those were really terrific readings, and I appreciate so much being included with you tonight. And before I get going, I want to thank Carolina Poets. This is a really incredible project, and it's an honor to be included. Thank you, Kim. Okay, so this little poem here is one of the, it's an earlier poem. It's about growing up Navy, and I don't get to read it very often, and it's possibly got one of the best metaphors that ever came out of my pen. You'll hear it later on and maybe notice. The New World. It is Christmas again, only this time the girls are back home in Virginia, not the gentle Virginia that created their memories of Shenandoah, Pocahontas, Appomattox. This new Virginia makes them long for Italy, where they'd run to the school bus that carried them to geometry, cricket, and magical words like meticulous. Now the girls single file their way through a kind of holding tank where they learn to backtalk, undress, and memorize Elvis songs. Christmas again, and they are with their Virginian aunts and cousins, and they try not to get trapped by Uncle Vincent, who will make them peel grapes for him. Belli ragazzi, the grizzled, garlicky old men in Italy would admire, pinching their cheeks hard. So what if old Virginia has pirate ships, Pocahontas, even the occasional snowfall? Italy had castles, blood oranges, and Leonardo. And everywhere marble boys with wings were peeing into pools of money. In Italy, Christmas is all concerti and festivali, sparklers bright sizzling from the balconies. In Virginia, relatives pass a basket of names and everyone buys just one gift. The girls miss Vesuvio and gelati, the hilarious odors, the handsome goat herds, the way fat ladies would feed lines of wet laundry and o sole mio out high windows between narrow stone walls. And churches like art museums, they want to go in Virginia's colored bathrooms, imagining mosaic tiles and copper faucets, windows of stained glass. They are told it's not for them, and they slow drag back to their facility, white and chrome walls headlined with black grout. They beg to see the lost colony or the wild ponies of Chincoteague, but their mother misses Italy too, and misses her husband who is out at sea, and she naps all day long. Christmas again, and the modest gifts and prayers and Bible verses read over a turkey carcass are just as they had learned it would be in the New World, a lost colony of pilgrims. Well, Italy wasn't always just a party. This is a portrait of my family in Italy. When I was a little kid, my childhood terror was volcanoes. So we moved in Italy in Naples, where the view from my window was the volcano, Mount Vesuvius. Italy. Being a volcano, Mom is invigorated by danger. Dad is a chain smoker specializing in solo yachting. All over the place, he leaves pictures of boats with big rosy breasts and books about the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. The girls are afraid of friction and roller skate everywhere they go. Dinner time is hard on Celeste. When Mom gets up for more Molotov, Alice gobbles the chilies piling up at the rim of Celeste's plate. Celeste, in turn, keeps quiet about Alice's little tobacco problem. One day, Mom heaves up Lily. Soon, Lily will dive back in. Charlotte likes to sip kerosene before school. Although her tongue is turning black, she sings in her sleep. The girls tremble all the time. One night, Dad takes them to the top of a tall building. They look down into it and see frothing sulfur. As they descend the steps, behind them, the building has begun spewing lava. Dad is nonchalant as all four girls jockey for his two hands. He says, "Oopla," as they all hop down, 2 steps at a time, their roller skates clattering, flames and ash hurtling into the lacy clouds above. Italy wasn't just about those things. It was also about people speaking a language I couldn't understand. I was just dazzled by this and learned to speak Spanish as soon as I could in public school. This is a love poem. Enséñame a hacer el amor en español. Enséñame las palabritas que me faltan cuando el deseo lleno del veneno caliente y viscoso de 1000 noches de los sueños ardientes de soledad, surge de mi matriz y se sumerge picándote adentro del oído, cuchicheándote canciones de la perfecta armonía entre tu espada que recorta en pedazos todo alejamiento y mi herida que le exprime la vida a todo pretexto. La herida que cuidas con la poción de tus besos apasionados y las palabritas cariñosas del amor en español. One of my other preoccupations is the Great Depression. My mother was a ward of the state of Georgia in the 1930s. She was born, 14 days before the crash. This is written after Gerard Manley Hopkins, the great Catholic poet who wrote religious poems. This one is famous, and the subtext to this one is this is a deeply reverent poem, and I use it to question the ways in which the church shapes poor people. Bourimé, God's Grandeur, 1934. In black and white, 5 children in a God-forsaken shanty of loose boards, tin foil and tar paper, newsprint soaked in oil to let in light. Fish caught with a cane rod is just a wish. At sunset, cotton rows, trod barefoot, leave picking sacks near empty. Toil all day, crave all night, all Georgia such poor soil that only hunger grow, and aches and slipshod caravans. Grimy little faces, bodies spent clean out, minds shaped in a one-room life by things the half-dead tell themselves. If we only went across to Beulah land, 'twere like rank springs made clean, peanuts to eat, rickets legs unbent. Just think of it. Already it's like wings. Okay, this is the R-rated portion of our show. If you've got little kids listening, you might want to just go do something else for 2 minutes. This is the first poem I ever wrote 30 years ago. By the time I turned 21, I think, I knew so many dead people. I didn't have enough fingers to count them on. ODs, diseases. That one of the favorite things around here was to get drunk and ride out 61 and wrap your car around a tree. That was really a popular way. And I have thought about this over the years, and what I come to is that Charleston, South Carolina was really racist when I moved here in 1971 from Europe. And I think the price of oppression exacted upon one's children is terrible, because you have to teach them to be cold or else they don't survive it. 3 questions. Yo, Johnny, hey man, did you get off? Peering through the thick blue haze of a badly rolled joint at the white line winding around that skinny Blue Ridge Road, trading your usual breathless insults with the friend who survived, laughing in an explosion of sweet smoke and letting the cherry fall. You took the bait, and death took you on the ride of your life, rolling your Mustang into the bare dogwoods of St. Valentine's night, Johnny, rolling you right into the bony arms of the champion of your solitude. In the final adrenaline rush, Johnny, did you get high? God, Janet, you were such a bitch. How bravely you twisted against the choking corset of Southern womanhood, making them ugly-ass paintings and paying the rent on your back. I know our men out here are pretty conventional, but did you have to go kissing that tree? Death lurks in the trees. Anybody can see him out there in the swamp lightning, but only the desperate see him beckoning in the headlights, offering the ultimate seduction in the warm primordial mud. Janet, I have to ask you, is death a good fuck? Oh, Bonnie, honey, you chased and flirted with death so much, dope, tequila, cigarettes, violent husbands, and fast cars. You never expected him to turn and notice you the way he did, huh? And court you long and hard and steady, and with the confidence of a true Romeo that ultimately he would take you. And now that you finally had his interest, suddenly he didn't seem so sexy anymore, and you resisted his force like a palm tree in a hurricane until you became a bare stick, your lovely fronds and coconuts all gone, and with death, hotter than ever for a bride without vanity. Did you finally marry for love, Bonnie darling, in the end? One of our favorite things down here in the Low Country is winter and oyster time. Here's my address to an oyster, in which the author contemplates the first person ever to eat a raw one. Oh, slimy queasling, oh, smug, ugly, corpulent and snug in your warm waist, lazy feeding on whatever rot may drift your way. Oh, brackish, oh, repulsive, oh, smelly, settling incestuous, hermaphroditic, lascivious upon your daughters and mothers, oh, boneless and without sight, oh, vile and gelatinous and khaki brown, your concrete carapace, stratified bruise and rust, and shut against the soup's feelers and drills, oh, mud shrine, oh, fearless, oh, complacent. How hungry will they have to get, our ancestors, beloved carrion-picking geophagic bug suckers, all brittling bones and wasting muscles, peering at you bubbling there in the African muck, to give up on prayer, sacrifice, and taboo, and have a go at you. I love marine biology. The best years of my career in biomedical research were out at the Marine Lab here on James Island studying coral microbial ecology. And I was the Poet Laureate in the lab. My task there was to open every meeting with a poem from the canon. It was just so unique and beautiful. You can't imagine. I have this series of poems on marine animals they're anagrams made out of words that are formed from the letters of the scientific names of these creatures. This one's Caulerpa taxifolia. It comes from the name of the aquarium plant that, get this, escaped from the Cousteau Institute in the south of France, and within a matter of months carpeted the Mediterranean Sea, okay? Caulerpa taxifolia. This is a poem in the voice of the plant. None of this was ever my fault. I'm no angel, but for sure no Lucifer. Good boundaries, not my forte. My nature is mellow, tropical. Can't help my pictorial allure. Capture me and okay, I'll play exotic kelp, concealing the model pirate frigate your plastic diver explores. But beware, this here leafy calliope is cursed. You must never let me out. Down into the frigid med, like exfoliate trash, the Cousteau once flushed a piece of me. Then I was a shivering expat. Now I'm a luxurious carpet. Too bad French fish find me toxic. You'd turn me out to flirt? Ciao, Bella. It's the rape of Europa. This is my kind of place.
Wow, that was so great, Katherine. That was awesome. That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I know everyone is giving you a virtual round of applause. Where can we get, I know you have a wonderful website, so we can go there to learn more about your work. And we will definitely.
That's where.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to bring Jackie and Q back on for just a second, because I know we are very close to the end of our time here. But thank you to everyone for sharing tonight. And I love the way we had this theme of history. I think that kind of worked through everybody's poems. I didn't know if anyone wanted just to make a final comment or to kind of speak on how history is something that's really influencing you during this time. Q, I know you've got a lot of history, and Jackie, you as well, and even Katherine as well.
I believe very strongly that, I mean, all of us, all of the work that was shared this evening is rooted in what I call the tenuous tether between yesterday and today, right? That we did not arrive at this moment, right? Without some factors that preceded this moment that got us here. Right, that history is a continuum, and that sometimes we learn from that history and we do things to change it for the better, and sometimes we perpetuate that history and we just perpetuate the status quo, or even in some instances make things worse than they were, and so. Yeah, so my work is rooted in that notion that history is alive and we can't forget it. We should not forget it. And those folks who are interested in separating culture from history are the folks that you want to avoid, because they're trying to control what you think, how you see, and what you feel. which is why the Proud Boys could storm one of the most significant African-American churches, one of the oldest African-American churches in the country in Washington, D.C., take off a Black Lives Matter banner, take it down the street to the plaza, stomp on it, and burn it to the ground. Which is why in South Carolina, where you are, Dylan Storm Roof could roll into the most significant Black church in the history of this country,
Right.
spend a prayer service for an hour and then kill 9 people, right? Because, and keep one alive so they could tell the story, right? Because of the significance of how history informs today.
Absolutely. Jackie, did you want to speak on that?
Well, as a documentarian, I mean, I think about this every time I pick up the pen. You know, Shelley did say that poets are the legislators of the world, and we must, our voices must document not only the historians but the poet. It's vital that our voice, you know, becomes a container, becomes the delivery, the vessel that holds and, you know, and reimagines for survival. I mean, and that's what we're talking about. It's about survival.
Word.
You know, not just memory, not just for the aesthetic of poetics, but it is about survival. It is about the danger of truth telling.
Yep.
It's about what it means to be a truth teller, a storyteller, a writer, an artist of any type.
Yep.
Right now, in this day, in this country, in this culture. So I think it's very, very important that poets hold up other poets and help us continue to get this work out. And that's the other part of this, is that it goes out where it belongs in communities, because it's medicine. Creativity is medicine. Our poems are the medicine that we need right now, and we have to give it to people. And
that's so true.
And in this Zoom land, you know, I was first resistant of all the Zoom stuff because it just felt so artificial to me. But I truly appreciate how we are reaching across all kinds of boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Katherine, did you want to just speak for just very quickly about how history influences your work? Because I know you have quite a lot of kind of your personal history and other histories that came into your writing as well. And I don't know if Katherine can hear me very well, because I think she's having a little bit of a computer issue, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. We have put a link to everybody's websites. We're going to put Katherine's website in here in just a second, so that you can please go and buy their books, because that is a big way that you can support these poets and support what they're doing. And also to get some, you know, to send some great words to some friends and family as well, and make great Christmas gifts and all that good stuff too. Well, thank you everybody for being such a wonderful audience. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. We are here every Thursday. We'll be back in January. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming to this poetry reading tonight, and we will see you again in 2021.